Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. We have made our way to the Food Network. We have. So Chantal's pissed about something. Title of this video is called Raging About a New Series Being Made About Me. Haven't watched this video yet. I have no idea what she's gonna say, but I know the creator who she's about to talk about. And the thing is, this guy, Mr. Snowflake, has made videos about her before. I don't know how many he's made, but this isn't the first time that he's covered Chantal. So why now? Why all of the sudden is she all pissed off and throwing a tantrum on her channel and uploading a video of her raging? What's different this time?
Hello, Foodie
Day. All right, hello. So, today I woke up and chose violence. This video is going to be me addressing these dumb documentaries made about me. Well, they're not just about me. There are a lot made about other creators as well. I'm doing this because there's a channel that, just like the rest, picks on content creators they see as failures, I guess, and it's usually either Amberlynn or I find it weird that
He's covered a lot of content creators. I mean, yeah, he's made a lot of videos about Amberlynn. I don't know how many he's made about you, but to say that his channel's primarily, or it's mostly you and Amberlynn, I don't think that that's right. I don't think that that's true at all.
grown man chooses to obsess over the lives of the two same women, basically.
Obsess. Grown man. Why a grown man chooses to obsess over the lives of two women. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be straight up with y'all. YouTube and content creation and making videos and writing scripts and making commentary and sitting down to do this and everything. People don't do it because they're obsessed with you. People don't do it because they're bored or because they want clout or, well, maybe a little bit. But for the most part, people aren't making these videos for anything that isn't for financial means. So if you're pointing your finger at a reaction channel and saying they're obsessed with Foodie Beauty, they're obsessed with Amberlynn Reid, I really want y'all to just remember that reaction channels, this is a job. This is another type of job. It's supplemental income. It's primary income for some people. This is not because we're obsessed. This is not because we genuinely care and are invested deeply. Like it burns within my soul to know what Foodie Beauty is going to have from McDonald's at her next meal. That's not the case for me or any other reaction channel, in my opinion. So it just always hits me a little bit funny when I hear this reaction channel's obsessed. Similar to you, Chantal. If the reaction channels were not benefiting financially on YouTube from covering you or Amberlynn or anyone else, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's not an obsession. It's not because we genuinely care. It's I'm sorry if that sounds depressing, but I mean, making content, this takes work. This takes time. This takes effort. Writing scripts. And if you have ever watched a Mr. Snowflake documentary, you'd know that he spends a lot of time writing out his scripts, and they're very well written. That takes a lot of time. So, second part of that, grown man. Well, okay. What's your point? What's your point there with that? Like, as if there's something wrong with the fact that a grown man is making these kind of videos. I mean, you're older than him, Chantal. I think if he's like 35, what are you, like 39, 40? What does him being a 35-year-old man have to do with anything? he's a grown-ass man making these documentaries about me. Okay, and you're a grown-ass woman eating takeout 7 days a week and filming it. What's the point here? Are we trying to like say... What are you trying to say here?
Beating a dead horse, but whatever. Speaking of beating dead horses, figuratively, not literally, of course, this new quote-unquote docu-series being made about me will not, by the way, spoiler, will not contain anything new that you haven't heard a million times before.
That's not true. Oftentimes, mostly when he puts out these documentaries, he interviews and talks to a lot of people and gets information that has not been uttered on the internet. There's new information coming out about Chantal constantly. There are people in Chantal's personal life that have already expressed interest in talking to Mr. Snowflake and giving accounts of their experiences with her. Wouldn't surprise me at all if some people in some of Chantal's past seasons come and talk to him, and then that gets featured in the documentary. So who are you to sit there and say that it's not going to be any new information that you haven't already heard already? And even if let's play by your rules here for a second. In this scenario, say he makes a docuseries and it's stuff that has already all been documented on YouTube before. Mr. Snowflake, in my opinion, does a very good job at turning a lot of information into a concise video. A lot of people, when they say, "Who's Amberlynn Reed? How can I get to know Amberlynn Reed better? What would be a good video or good channel to go to if I'm first, taking my first steps into the Amberverse?" A lot of people say, Mr. Snowflake, go check out Shaped by the Algorithm. Go watch some of his documentaries. He's good at what he does. So I don't really know what you're saying here by, well, there's not going to be any new information. Even if there wasn't, he does a good job at compiling it.
Also from... these few other overly dramatic, embellished bullcrap documentaries, such as...
Okay, so she's attacking his channel as a whole. Bullcrap, overly, blah, 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 document. There was... I want to say that this was like within the past 2 months. Or maybe past 3 months. It was whenever that I had never covered this woman on my channel before, but she was, I don't know if she was considered to be like a part of Girl World, but a lot of people in Girl World knew about this woman. Her name was Life by Jen. And she is was kind of similar to Chantal and Amberlynn, had a YouTube channel and everything, vlogged her life, was problematic, super morbidly obese and everything, and she passed away. And when that happened, Chantal came on here and she was all teary-eyed and she was saying, "Oh, I feel for her. That really scared me. And I was watching Mr. Snowflake's documentary on Life by Jen and it really touched me." And okay. All right. So in the not so recent past, you were watching a documentary by this guy about a different person that you liked and it was meaningful to you. But now that he's creating a documentary about you, it's crap. And by the way, this documentary hasn't even come out yet. He just announced that he's going to be working on it now. It's not even in production yet. It's shit. It's horrible. Don't watch it. It's not even created yet.
Canadian Horror Story, for example. First off, a documentary is supposed to be educational. There's nothing educational about me, about these videos.
A documentary is supposed to be educational. I don't know if I agree with that. Sometimes documentaries are for entertainment purposes. And when you really think about it, learning about the lives and getting into the mind of someone else, that can be educational. Kind of understanding how other people see the world and how the decisions that they make get them into the situations that they are in life. When some people look at a 500-pound person, they really are in awe and think to themselves, how did they get into that situation? So if we can't understand how people get themselves into those situations, how can we know to help them? How can anyone lend aid to them? So to say that a documentary on you or Amber Lynn or some of these other people that he covers isn't educational, I disagree.
Because you were only able to make conclusions based on limited information about my life. What is educational about me?
Oh, good Lord. It always kills me when they say this. Chantal's last season with Natter, she was on YouTube streaming upwards of 12, 15 hours a day. No exaggeration. It just always kills me when some of these content creators come on here and say, you don't know a thing about me. There's very limited information on my life. Ma'am, you're streaming 15 hours of your day. I would say that people have a decent look into your lifestyle. I mean, that's like another thing, like with Eugenia. She tries to say this all the time. You don't know shit about me. You don't know anything about my life. You don't know. But she'll be on TikTok for 12 hours a day. Very limited information. I mean, talking and interviewing and hearing stories from people that you have been friends with or you've been in relationships with or you've just been associated with, I wouldn't call that limited information. That would kind of be firsthand information.
Eating and telling stories from my past, for example. My life is really not that interesting, nor is my content to warrant 3 hours of an in-depth character study that these creators fabricate. Not only that, they try to analyze me.
Chantal, if your life wasn't interesting, there wouldn't be a plethora of reaction channels covering it. I think that you know that your life is interesting. And partially, I think that's kind of why you make the decisions that you do, so that you can have a problematic life, so that you continue to have social clout and a following online. I think that you like it in a way. Definitely. I mean, if you're going to sit here and call someone's video fabricated, I would much rather you give examples and talk about some of the things that they addressed in their video and shut down their argument. I really don't like it when people come on here and they throw out these blank, baseless accusations. Oh, they're horrible. Oh, they're disgusting. Amber Lynn likes to do that with me. She's like, oh, Jordy, he's disgusting. He's horrible. But she never talks about what I actually say. It's like, why am I horrible? Why am I disgusting? What do you not like about what Mr. Snowflake is saying about you, Chantal? Why? Why is he wrong? Shut it down. Well, if he's wrong and it's fabricated and everything that's coming out of his mouth is shit, then explain it to us. Don't just sit there and say, you're a liar, but then never provide any proof.
From what seems to be a psychological approach or, about my eating disorder or other matters when they're not even qualified to do that. Being some edgelord living in your parents' basement reading kiwi farms all day does not make you a credible source of information.
Okay. I don't know if she's even talking about him now at this point, but that's not his situation whatsoever. I mean, just like thinking of the reaction channels that I do know and I guess am associated with in Girl World, I don't know of any that fall into that category.
You are not doctors, you are not therapists, and you are certainly not experts on my life. So each of these dumb documentaries starts off with some dramatic cinematic intro. Imagine, like, how am I that interesting? Anyway, I guess I'm flattered. So the music is super annoying because it sets the tone of sadness, hopelessness, drama, regret. Again, speculating that we as the subjects feel that way about our lives. Maybe some do. That's their problem. I don't. And here's why.
Delusion. Chantal, your life, Amber Lynn's life, some of the other people's lives that Girl World covers, it's a tornado. And if it wasn't a tornado, you probably wouldn't be covered.
Here's why I don't care if people cancel me, unsub, make 4-hour documentaries about me. It's because I know I'm human. I know I'm flawed. Show me one person with a perfect...
Oh boy, the Christina Perry approach. I'm only human, and I bleed when I fall down. Okay, Christina Perry, you're only human. There's a difference between making mistakes and screwing up, saying the wrong thing, being facetious, doing things when you're not supposed to, and learning from it and moving on with your life. The fascinating thing about you and Amber Lynn and some of the other people that Girl World gravitates around is that you guys don't learn from your mistakes. Sure, you're human. You have flesh and bones. We all have bones. But, yeah, you guys have a difficult time learning from your mistakes or making the better decision. It's just like you would think after spending the past year and a half, 2 years chasing around that natter dude, paying for all his expenses, being made a fool of, you would not immediately run into the arms of some guy that you matched with on Tinder on the other side of the world and do the same thing over again. That's kind of what we mean when it's a little bit highbrow, when it's like, oh, well, I'm human, I make mistakes. Yeah, you make mistakes and then you don't learn from them, and then you make them again and again, and sometimes you make them at a worse degree, and it gets you into an even deeper hole. It's a train wreck. So I think that you're kind of applying a very vague standard of life where humans always mess up and we're always learning, we don't always say the right thing, to a situation where that doesn't apply. Chantal, you're very unique. You're very unique. And so is Amber Lynn. That's why you guys have followings. That's why you guys have reaction channels. That's why you have subreddits. That's why you have people following you. They're interested in you. This isn't just I slipped up, all right, won't ever do it again kind of situation.
Life or past, and I'll shut up. Just one. God made obstacles for us as tests. Life is personal and each individual has their own tailored path. So unless, and this is key,
I want y'all to think about Chantal's life. If you don't know too much about like her childhood, her teenage years, her time here on YouTube, her dating history, the diets, the lack of dieting and everything. If you were to look at the 40 years that Chantal has been around, and for her to sit there and say, this is all a part of God's plan, that would be a pretty awful plan. So what are you trying to say here, hon? That it was God's plan for you to chase around that guy and pay his rent and have him take advantage of you and have him what are you trying to say here? That it was all part of destiny? I think that you just made horrible decisions and that got you into this a terrible situation. If you made better decisions, your life wouldn't have been so shit. But it's God's plan that your life was shit? Is that what you're trying to say? I just don't see it.
unless you are living in that person's shoes or life path, you really cannot say what you would do or how you would react to certain situations because you are not living it. You will always be looking from the outside in, and that gives you a
it's true. I'm not a 400 whatever pound Canadian woman that's almost 40 years old, so I guess I wouldn't know if I was consciously transported to that situation, but there are just so many things that I watch and hear I watch Chantal do and hear Chantal say that I think you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say that. You should know better. But we wouldn't know how we would respond or what we would do or how we would react if we were her. So what are you trying to say here? That like you're like rotten to the core and your default decision making is to make the wrong decision? You wouldn't know if you would screw your entire life up or not because you're not me. That's kind of what I took from that. I kind of picked up a little bit of self-loathing from that statement. Huh.
A very limited view. Trust me. Second, I have not done anything so terrible as to warrant that much criticism. I'm sorry, but it's true. People pick apart every little detail.
You haven't done anything that hasn't warranted criticism? Well, you know what? It's funny to the audience. It's funny to the reaction channels to hear her say something like this. But in Chantal's mind, truly, I could sit here and I could list out countless examples of things that Chantal has done that are pretty heinous. But she doesn't see it that way. It's just two different realities. It really is. It's like she jumped through a black hole and she's in a different dimension communicating to us, and we're all down here on Earth watching it.
Irrelevant, trivial details. If I play a video game I suck at the first time I play it as a first-timer amateur, which is normal, that somehow warrants a 5-hour live stream? Similarly with these documentaries, a 3-hour ordeal on me eating pasta and going on and off diets and talking about my abuser and low-key victim shaming.
Okay, well, like I said, this documentary has not been created. So to say that the content about it is going to be about you eating pasta in gargantuan portions, that's not fair because this video isn't even created yet. To say that he's going to talk about your abuser, you mean the natter dude? I watched that in real time. I joined Chantopolis. I started watching Chantal's content when she was dating that guy. What I remember very heavily from that is Chantal pursuing him. Pursuing, trying to put her mark on him, trying to get him to commit to her, trying to set down a foundation with him in life. He's not a great guy. He's not a nice guy. He's done and said some pretty awful things. And so has Chantal. So, victim shaming here. Just personally, and I mean, I don't mean for this to be insensitive to people that have experienced DV or any type of situation similar to that. But in my opinion, from what I experienced watching that when it aired, Chantal took countless opportunities to place herself in the situation and call him nonstop, send him hundreds of text messages, give him a lot of money. So what are you trying to say here, Chantal? That you were manipulated into doing that? That for some reason he is at fault for you calling him like 100 times. He's at fault for you showing up to his house multiple times unannounced. I just don't necessarily believe that Chantal fits the definition of a victim when considering that situation as a whole.
Sorry, former abuser. This new series about to come out, again, this has this ridiculous cinematic trailer, and the first sentence from the intro song they so carefully chose for it starts with basically, "You are the reason your father wasn't there." Nice choice of song. Blaming a child for their father being a deadbeat, absent parent, it's never the child's fault. I can tell already by the stage that was set with this trailer.
Okay. Do y'all want to go watch the video and then talk about that claim that she just made? The first sentence in the song of the preview to this docu-series is about your father leaving you or something. Let's go double check that. Let's chit chat. Okay, here we are. We're over on the opening credits video. Let's listen to the first, I don't know, whatever, until they start singing.
Whispers in your ear. You're the reason daddy's not here. Lie.
Okay, something about whispers in your ear and daddy not being here. Okay, let me pull up the actual lyrics to the song. Okay, so I found the lyrics to the song that he used in his opening credits. It's a song called Liar, Liar by Joy Hannah, but it's a woman singing it, and the version that he was using was a guy singing it, so I don't know if it was a cover or what, but anyway, the song starts off by saying, "Liar, liar, whispers in your ear, you're defined by how you appear." Okay, so that would be like someone telling you your worth as a person is as how you look. Like how pretty you are, how tall you are, how whatever you are, your skin color, like whatever, how you look, how you appear. So a liar is saying that. Liar, liar tells you happiness comes from the feeling of that kiss. So that falling in love or, lust or being with that person that you want to be with, getting to kiss them, that's what will make you happy in life. But that's a lie because the liar, liar is telling you that. Liar, liar's tugging at your heart. Money, fame, and fortune is his dark art. Again, more vapid things that, would apparently make you happy on the surface, but that's not what makes you happy deep down. So where's the daddy part? Okay, another stanza here of lyrics. And then it says, "Liar, liar, whispers in your ear, you're the reason daddy's not here." Okay, so liar, liar is saying this, which means that in the song, the message is about this is a lie. If someone is blaming you or if you're blaming yourself that your father is not around or was not around to help raise you, that's a lie. Liar, liar whispers in your ear and says this. The song quite literally talks about how the liar is the one saying this. But the way that Chantal just worded it is Mr. Snowflake picked a song that said, "You're the reason daddy's not here." Could you imagine saying that about a child? It's never a child's fault. The message of the song does not convey that at all. If you would have taken 5 seconds to look this up and read it yourself, you may have comprehended the message. I don't think that this is a very deep song. I know that there's like hidden insight and hidden messages in some songs that are more difficult to decipher, but I think that this is a very straightforward song. They say that money, fame, and fortune will make you happy, but it isn't. Liar, liar is telling you that. Liar, liar says that you're the reason your daddy's not here. It's about listening to your inner monologue or your inner saboteur or, the voice in your head that tells you that you're the reason for these things, but you're not. It's not your fault. That's the message of the song, Chantal. It has nothing to do about him trying to say that you are the reason why your father abandoned you when you were a kid. But again, she didn't take the 5 seconds to look up the song before making a claim like this. So here we are. Okay, let's go back to the video.
This will also be a load of crap series. But nonetheless, it's very lucrative because there's a lot of haters who will eat it up with a fork and spoon. Like I said...
Well, hold on a second. Earlier in this video, you said it was because he's obsessed with you, or it's because he has an obsession with Girl World, you and Amber Lynn. So which is it? Is it because it's financially beneficial? Or is he obsessed with you, Chantal?
Beating a dead horse. We already heard my life story. We already blamed me for dropping the charges, which if you simply use Google, many women in narcissistic abusive situations do that. It's the past. I don't live there anymore. You are reliving someone's trauma and someone's past for your own gain. It's weird and all too common. Anything I have gone through is normal.
Well, I mean, I would say let the audience make that decision on their own. She's saying that it was a narcissistic ABUS victim-like situation. If he's able to compile all of the information and present it in a fair way, like I know he does in his documentaries, then I would rather come up with that conclusion on myself, not hear it from your lips.
Because many have gone through similar things. Getting too drunk and saying things we don't mean. For example, Cuba rage gets rubbed in my face like I give a crap that I raged on my abuser after being subjected to a weekend of having my car keys and phone hidden and being pushed into situations I was not comfortable with.
The only reason you went on that trip is to get attention from him. You wanted to flex on him that you were going on vacation and you were Miss International and you were living it up and you didn't need him to be happy. That was all just a ploy to get attention from him. That you could have taken him there if you wanted to. You could show him the finer things. But you went out and did it yourself. I mean, it was also a good opportunity for you to get away and make content and everything. But the whole reason you went in the first place was because of him.
The Uvalde incident. I didn't write pumped up kicks, by the way. I didn't attack kids. That is something that gets twisted again. This is a perfect example. I remember sobbing for them and mocking the gun culture of the US because it's not a secret that the US has a problem with shooters.
Now, I don't know what video she's referring to here when she says this, but Uvalde was a tragedy that happened here in the United States. I don't remember when that was. I want to say like 3 years ago. It was another school shooting. And from what I do remember, Chantal came live and it was like the day or the day after that had occurred, and she was very inebriated. I don't know if she was drunk, she was on something else, but she was talking a whole lot and saying a whole lot of things, and just came across as very messy, very sloppy. I don't know if she was trying to get a rise out of the audience. I don't know if she was purposely trying to piss people off, but that's the effect that it had. You want to talk about twisting words. I mean, now, later on, years past that incident, you coming on here and saying that whole stream was about you mocking United States gun culture. Okay. Again, I think that might be another thing that the audience could come up with on a conclusion on their own. Not you explaining it 3 years later. But, okay, all right, that's Chantal's defense, that it was mocking school gun culture. The day of or the day after a shooting, her coming on to live stream and acting a mess, lip syncing, pumped up kicks, was her mocking U.S. gun culture. Okay.
There's a shooting every other day. I was also very drunk, and maybe my delivery was in poor taste, but I would never mock deceased children. Again, another example of how things get twisted to make me look bad. Well, if people want to believe these things about me, I don't care. Recently, I was accused of giggling while telling a true crime.
That's another thing that kills me about Chantal. I don't care. I don't care. Make your 4-hour live stream. Make your countless videos about me. I don't care. You can always tell when someone doesn't care about, how emotional and how frustrated and upset they get. Like, like a vein popping out of their forehead, like they're Harry Potter with the lightning bolt scar. I don't care. I don't care. People who really don't care don't bother to make a video like this in the first place.
Crime story. Again, to make me look like a villain. Giggling because the perpetrator had a funny last name. Not because someone was victimized, you morons. My cat's nail situation. Again, I've explained a million times what happened. I don't care if you don't believe it or not. And I certainly...
You should. You should care if your audience knows that you neglected a cat to basically it being on death's doorstep. You should care what your audience thinks about it. That paints you in a horrible light, Chantal. It's been a very damning piece of evidence to your character here on the internet. You should care.
I don't care if I'm hated. I get asked that a lot. Do you care you are so hated? No, of course not. I'm also very loved. And I'm grateful to have
By who? The ex-roommate that you treated like crap and didn't talk to as soon as you moved to the other side of the world to marry your Tinder boyfriend? I don't know the inner, I'll be the first to admit, I don't know the inner workings of her family life and everything, so I can't speak on that. But from what I have seen of Chantal's content, it doesn't seem like she's all that close with her family. So you're very disliked online, but you're also very loved. I just want, like, by who? The guy whose life you finance in the Middle East? The ex-roommate who you don't even really talk to anymore? Your family, who I don't really ever hear you talk about in a good, positive light either. Okay, though, she's loved.
Experienced everything in my life because I trust in God's plan for me. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, people like to throw the fact that
Ma'am, if your life has been part of a deity's plan for you, if this is your destiny to be 400 whatever LBs on top of all of the horrible things that have come about through your life, I'd have a problem with that. If that was all part of a plan that I was living out, you know, by some greater power, mapping it out for me, giving me the blueprint of my life that I'd have to live, I'd have some complaints. Chantal, I'm just saying, don't hide behind a scapegoat here and say, well, my life is the way it is because, you know, this is his plan for me. I make all of these terrible decisions and my life is shit and I'm at the stage I am at 40 years old in my life because this is his plan. If that were true, if that were really the case, I'd be talking to HR in heaven.
as a 15-year-old, I faked an unaliving incident for attention. I was very mentally ill. I was admitted to inpatient even, and I had a lot of issues. Again, that was 25 years ago. So get out of my face with that. Some of you haven't even been alive that long.
So, 25 years ago. So in 1999, Chantal was 15. And she lied about unaliving herself. But her excuse here is because she was in a mentally dark place. See, like, this is kind of what I mean. I mean, was it God's plan for you to lie about that when you were 15? She just seems to make a lot of very poor decisions in her life and get herself into awful situations and say and do awful things. And then we've heard like 2 or 3 times now in this episode alone, we're not even halfway through it, that the reason why she does it and the reason why that has happened is because it's God's plan.
Why are you all still ruminating and obsessing over my past when it's something I've moved on from? Certain incidents I have learned from and...
See, that's the thing, Chantal, though. Sometimes you got to heal the past before you can move on with the present. From what I've seen, you don't acknowledge much. You don't learn from much. You don't apologize. So how are you ever going to live a better, more fulfilling, happy life if you never learn from your mistakes? That's what really builds character. Screwing up is a good thing. Failing is a good thing. But what's not a good thing is failing, doing, and saying awful things, and then justifying it to yourself by saying, oh, well, you know, whatever. It's part of God's plan. It's, you know, it's just because, like, that's the way it is. Like, I was in a bad situation back then. Like, if there's always an excuse, if there's always a justification, like, and you're never getting yourself to a point where you can look inward and say, okay, yeah, I screwed that up. I messed up. You're never going to learn. And I think that that's kind of how you look at all conflict. I want to say that Chantal is very unhappy with herself, and she blames, I don't know who she blames, but she blames the world around her. That the reason why her life is in shambles and the reason why she continues to make horrible decisions is because she doesn't have it all, I guess. So maybe she's angry with the world that she's like 400 pounds, and because she's angry with the world, it's everybody else's fault. So therefore she doesn't have to take accountability for her own actions. I just pick up from watching her. I pick up on a lot of self-loathing.
Moved on. I grew up. As for the whole thing with nattered, I don't talk about that at all anymore, if you haven't noticed, for a reason. I've moved on. So should all of you. That was a deeply traumatic time in my life.
Yeah, but it's something that you put hundreds, if not thousands of hours worth of footage online. Chantal, you're a public figure. Everything that you've uploaded online on YouTube is for people's entertainment. That's why they watch your videos. That's why they click through the ad. That's why you make money off of this. You uploading thousands of hours worth of footage from a period of your life, like, what was that, 2 years ago, and people are still interested in it and want to talk about it. I mean, you were the one that made that public. You were the one that live streamed for 15 hours a day. You were the one who put 100% of your private life on the internet on full display. So to immediately turn around 2 years later and say, well, I've moved on, you all should too. You know what they say about the internet. I mean, once it's on the internet, it's on there forever. So,
And the victim shaming and exploiting the situation over and over is gross. It's gross how people don't believe my story, even though there is video evidence of him being an abuser on video. Oh, and doo-doo, you can...
Now, what I think that she's referring to here is there was a channel. God, was this like a year ago? Maybe a little over a year ago now. There was this channel that uploaded these never before seen videos of the ex-boyfriend, if you want to call him that, Natter. And in those videos, he said a lot of horrible things in them. And there were instances, I believe, that you could hear some type of altercation physically happen in those videos. If you guys want to listen to them, if you want to watch them, they're very graphic. But if you do want to go watch them, it's on a channel. I don't know if they're still on YouTube, honestly, but they might be. But they're on a channel, or they used to be on a channel called Sam's Bar Lounge. I don't know if the identity or the person who runs that channel was ever made public. But anyway, but here's the thing, though. Those videos, that DV, those altercations that occurred, those were in the scenario with someone that wasn't Chantal. That was with the woman that he's currently with, Dee Dee. So, what are you trying to do here, Chantal? Even there's video evidence of him having or had a physical altercation with his current girlfriend. So that means that during the whole time that you pursued him, it was also your case. It's like this horrible thing happened to someone else, so then that's proof that I went through it. Huh?
can keep your abusive, kitchen-burning, belly-dancing, cigarette money-leeching man baby. But anyway, even if no one believes it, I don't care. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you make 1,000 crappy documentaries about the same subjects. Most of the information provided for the series was not given by me, someone who's actually lived these experiences, but rather from haters or people with a negative view on my life and personality. People think they know me and my past more than
I don't really know what she means by that, because yes, some of his documentary will feature takes and opinions from other people and the community as a whole, but a lot of it is from footage that she herself uploaded to the internet. People watch the videos that you uploaded to YouTube, Chantal. They listen to what you have to say, and then when they compile it into a documentary, I don't see how that isn't firsthand commentary. It's quite literally from your channel. It came out of your mouth.
I do myself, which is just absurd, for obvious reasons. These documentaries are therefore the least credible sources of information on me out there. Yes, sure, I have an eating disorder. I can't follow through with much and blah, blah, blah. We all heard this before, but I'm still here and I'm still trying and I'm not giving up. Most times you're wrong about me. Comes as no surprise though, seeing as you listen to critics, quote unquote, critics who are big jokes. They say I'm not married, for example, and you believe it without proof. Even after I've stated that it is not legal for us to live.
Chantal, even if you were married, a 3-year-old could look at your marriage, your relationship, your situation with this dude in the Middle East that you met on Tinder and realize what's going on. It is just very hard for me to comprehend that someone could be this stupid or willingly put themselves in a situation where they're being exploited. I really don't know what to make of that. That's kind of where my opinion on all that stops. Like, I'm married. Some of you think I'm not actually married. Like, even if you were, who cares? We understand what's going on here. And I think you do too, but you're the type of girl that has told ex-partners, all you have to do is fake love me. So I think it's gotten to the point where you dislike yourself so much that you have told yourself you're unworthy of love. You will never achieve a boyfriend, true happiness, marriage, whatever. So the next best thing that you can get in this life is having a pseudo relationship with some dude on the other side of the world you met on Tinder. And that's sad. And that's sad.
Together here, if not married. No one listens and stories are made up because I'm not living the reality you have created for me. It doesn't fit your narrative. You were wrong. Most of you still think it's only a matter of time before I return to the dumpster fire life, and some are sick and waiting for this. Some want me back with the abuser for entertainment. Can you imagine? Sounds like a study on yourself would be more interesting.
Well, here's the thing. You, Amber Lynn, all these other people that Girl World looks at, there are highs and lows in terms of your content being entertaining. When you were with that guy, your content here on this platform was a lot more interesting. It gave people a reason to want to click on your channel, to become a member on your channel, to talk in your chat, blah, blah, blah. People like that engagement. People like that hubbub. And when you do a 180 and you go from a very chaotic, fun, crazy lifestyle that you're advertising on the internet for over 12 hours a day to one video every other day of you walking around the mall with copyright-free music playing in the background with some guy that's exploiting you for Canadian citizenship. Like, can you see why people would look at that and go, oh, you know, I want her to go back to Canada. I want her to start having fun again. I want her to, you know, start putting out content that I liked. It's the same thing with Amber Lynn. You know, as soon as she stopped dating Becky and Becky stopped being on camera and she brought in that new girl, it's like everyone was like, well, we want Becky back. And she was like, oh, well, you know, how can you guys say that you want me to be with Becky again? Becky and I weren't meant to be. That wasn't a very good relationship for either of us. How would you wish that upon me? I don't think it's that people want you to be with that guy again. It's just that they want you to bring the type of content and bring the entertainment they know that you have brought in the past to the channel so that they can be entertained again. But I mean, you want to talk about twisting words. I mean, I don't know. Do you really think that people are saying, yes, go back and date Natter? Like, no, like, personally, I mean, no, I don't want her to go back to Canada and date Natter, but I also don't want her to be in the Middle East being exploited financially and for citizenship and like not making any progress on her, you know, like,
Made some poor choices in life, but I learned from them and I move on. Some I'm still working on. It's my life, my journey. All this drama is for nothing. People just still feeding off my past for profit. Another thing people need to knock it off with is this accusing me of exploiting things that happened to me in my life. It's my life. I'm allowed to tell my story. The only one exploiting things at this point are reactors and these dumb documentary makers. The past is the past. Move on.
It's my life. I'm allowed to exploit myself. Sure. You can put anything online about you. You can be as open and in public about your personal life online as you want to be. But when you do that, it becomes everybody's knowledge. And when you share that with everyone and it becomes everyone else's knowledge, you're opening the door to people providing criticism about it and having an opinion. So when you exploit your own life, there are instances where people are going to have something to say about it. So, I mean, you benefit from exploiting your life, right? You get that check every month from Google for exploiting your life. But when you exploit your life like that, you get a lot. Like, not everything is positive. Not everything is just a check every month from Google. A lot else comes with that as well, which you know about. It's kind of why you're bitching right now.
So
my point in saying all that is, don't make everything public if you don't want people to have opinion about it. I'm the only one that's allowed to exploit myself. I'm the only one that's allowed to make myself look like a fool on the internet for a financial reason. I'm the only one that can talk shit on myself. You put it on the internet, it's fair game, baby.
I'm not allowed to talk about my experiences, but you are allowed to talk about my experiences. Yes, I struggle with problems still in life, but they don't keep me down, because why should they? We were designed to overcome things God throws at us. Read the Quran. It will help you understand these concepts. People try so hard every day to bring me down, and it doesn't work, and it never will.
Read the Quran. You'll understand what I'm saying in this video right now. I highly, 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 highly doubt that Chantal has read cover to cover, or probably even a fourth of the Islamic Bible. Read the Quran.
Examine your heads and think of why you so desperately want someone to fail. It's a bizarre common ground in Gore World, and that's one of the reasons that community is a pile of dog crap. It exploits the same overweight women, while most of the Gore World people are obsessed, overweight, uneducated, uncultured weirdos. Anyway, I wanted to address that, so...
That was a lot of adjectives. Let's go back a little bit and review that.
It's a bizarre common ground in Gore World, and that's one of the reasons that community is a pile of dog crap. It exploits the same overweight women, while most of the Gore World people are obsessed, overweight, uneducated.
Obsessed, overweight, uneducated. Okay, let's start with those three. Actually, we already talked about obsession and, being enthralled with Chantal and wanting to, follow in her footsteps and everything and kissing her butt. That's not why reaction channels exist. Overweight, I'll just speak for myself. I'm 5'10", 180. Yeah, I guess that is overweight. Okay, all right, she's got me there. Obsessed, overweighty, uneducated. Okay, here's the thing about uneducated, in my opinion. Uneducated is a very 90s insult. I have heard some people say, specifically like Gen X and baby boomers, I've heard them use that as kind of like an insult or a dig on certain people, or, as a way to inflate their own ego by saying, well, I'm college educated. I'm college educated. You're not college educated. Okay, so I am college educated. I have a degree and everything, but I would never, ever, ever think to use that as a flex or to use that for something to hold over someone's head. In this day and age, and not even in this day and age, for what's been going on for well over 15 years now, is a lot of people go to college. Most people take out loans and they go to college because for a long time it was the perpetuated idea that if you go to college and you get the degree and everything, that will place you ahead and you'll be able to get a better job and make more money and therefore be happier in life. That's not so much the case. There are a lot of people out there that went to college, did the whole get a degree thing, and they are as well off as the people who didn't go to college at all, except they have debt now. So I mean, I don't know. Did Chantal go to college? I mean, she's saying this as if, other people are uneducated. Okay. Is she educated? Does she have a bachelor's? Because again, I don't care about this. I don't care if someone has a bachelor's degree or an associate's or has, a GED. I don't give a shit. But she's the one that brought this to the table. So what are you trying to say here? So do you even have the credentials that you are holding over other people's head right now? I don't think that Chantal went to college. So what are you doing here calling a bunch of other people uneducated when you didn't even go to college? Oh, boy.
Educated, uncultured weirdo.
Uncultured. Okay, so you know what she means when she says this. Because Chantal put on a hijab and an abaya, matched with a man on the other side of the world on Tinder, flew to that country, married him, and paid for a lot of the expenses in his life, that makes her cultured. Chantal, moving to the Middle East, living in a 1-bedroom apartment and eating yourself silly with takeout in another country is exactly what you did in Canada. You're just doing it on the other side of the world now. Uncultured. Uncultured. I mean, to immerse yourself in someone's culture. Immerse yourself into someone's culture. Learn, I don't know, what would that even, learn the language, have friends in that culture, share meals, break bread with those people, take place in social outings or, opportunities that people in that culture, people in that area of the world live in to learn about that culture. You have done none of that. The most that you have done is you flew there, you sat in the apartment all the time, you ate, you came on here, yelled at people, and sometimes you go out with the husband to walk around and go out to eat and pet camels in the wilderness. From what I've seen and what you've shown online of your experiences in the Middle East has not suggested to me that you have immersed yourself in the culture enough to the point of considering yourself cultured. So, uneducated, uncultured.
weirdos. Anyway, I wanted to address that, so please don't ever come and ask me, have you seen the trailer for the new series on You? I don't care. I don't care if I get canceled again. I don't care if you don't like my content. I mean, here's another example of Gore World being ridiculous. Most of the reactors can't stand mukbangs, but watch every one I make in a 2-hour live stream. Weirdos, wallah. Anyway, I'm done giving my opinion on these matters, but to summarize, the outrage and exaggerated contrived drama for views is stupid and entertainment.
I mean, I don't really know what she said. Reaction channels don't like mukbangs, but they watch you eat. Well, again, if I'm going back to the main point of why reaction channels exist, and, you know, we're not obsessed with you. It's just that this is a job, Chantal. Sometimes in jobs, you need to do things that you necessarily don't want to do. You have to work with people that you don't want to work with. You have to learn things that you otherwise would never learn in your life. So if making a reaction video to you eating food and talking about it is a gain, you know, it's like work, then people would do that even if they don't like it. But this is the same point earlier when she called everybody obsessed with her.
Fit for those with low intelligence. And no, just because I give my opinion on something doesn't mean I'm affected or...
Whoa. What was that about low intelligence?
Drive drama for views is stupid and entertainment fit for those with low intelligence.
Oh, she's calling all you stupid now. Oh, wow. The reaction channels have been taking the heat of all of this. What was I? Uncultured, uneducated, weird, obsessed. Okay, so I got all that, but you guys got stupid. Ooh. This type of content, watching reaction channels and people who have anything to say about this, y'all are stupid. Hey, do y'all hear that right now? You watching this video right now, you're stupid, as told by Chantal. Chantal, the maker of awesome decisions in life, called you stupid.
And no, just because I give my opinion on something doesn't mean I'm affected or bothered by it. By that logic, the reactors who talk about every single thing I do and screech about it for 3 hours straight are super bothered then. I just get asked a lot about my thoughts on all this criticism, quote unquote, not constructive, most of it, and these are my thoughts. Oh, and by the way, some advice is given out of caring and a good place. I'm not attacking you people. Anyway, I get told a lot my channel is tanking and I'm boring. I don't see it that way. I'm at a different phase in my life, and for me it's exciting. And even if I'm battling health issues and an eating disorder, I'm still grateful for all God has given me, and I don't place my self-worth in the words of Gore World or how much money I make.
Yeah, her channel's tanking. I mean, comparatively to what she made when she was chasing around the Natter guy, she wasn't making nearly that much money. But looking at Chantal's view, just like kind of looking at her channel, it's enough. It's enough to sustain the lifestyle that she lives. Like, just from what I know of the finances of YouTube and everything. But I mean, when you don't pay taxes and you left an entire mess of a financial life back in another country, and the only expenses you really care to pay for while in the Middle East are rent and takeout, a lot of other people would be financially well off too. If the only thing that people had to worry about was takeout and rent, yeah. But I mean, you don't have a car payment, you don't have health insurance, you don't have kids. You don't have a lot of responsibilities that other 40-year-olds have. So, I mean, yeah, your content is tanking, and yeah, you could be making a lot more money, but it's enough to get you by. That's kind of Amber Lynn's approach over the past 2.5 years. No, she's not making nearly the amount that she made in season 4 with Becky, but she gets by. She pays rent. She can still get all the takeout she wants. She can still buy stuff at Torrid. She can buy, shit from Amazon. She can still do all that. So as long as it's enough, as long as it's but I mean, is that living or is that surviving?
I saw one of these stupid documentaries talking about Boogie2988, another YouTuber. And while, yes, he has done controversial, not so nice things, sometimes the whole documentary was keeping track of his net worth and how much money he had. He even says he's worthless at one point because he has no money. Money does not determine your worth as a person. The sad music documentary basically making a person seem worthless because they are.
Oh my God, she would know that if she read the lyrics to the song that Mr. Snowflake used. What are the lyrics? Like fame, money, and power. Liar, liar. She would know that if she read the lyrics before making that claim. And now here she is later in this video telling us that money doesn't make you a person. You're worth more as a person than just how much money you have. Huh. Wow. Okay.
Broke. Maybe God made him broke to teach him that his net worth is not measured in dollars and cents. But that's for him to learn. I will never ever let money affect my emotions or gratitude for life. This is one big thing I've learned in life that has been so valuable to me. Wealth is not monetary to me at all. At one point when I was making, let's say, $20,000 a month, I still wasn't happy. I blew through it just like Boogie did, and I don't care about it even 1% now. How can I regret an experience I needed to happen?
Okay, so if money doesn't matter to you, then what does? What makes Chantal happy? Like just knowing her, from watching her the past 2 years, food and men. Yeah. I think if Chantal could have a guy that really likes her, claims her, wants to be a part of the channel, wants to be a side character, wants to fulfill certain needs of hers, and she can eat whatever she wants, I think that would be an ideal life for Chantal. And she tried to achieve that with the last dude because she was making a lot of money. And she thought, well, if I give this guy everything he wants and I pay for everything, then he'll be with me. But that wasn't the case. So, I mean, the constant in her life is food. She's always been able to get her hands on food and eat as much as she wants, so that makes her happy. But the other part of what I think would make Chantal happy with the guy is what she's still working on. But the hard part about that is, yeah, she could find someone that she finances their lifestyle and then they're with her because she has money. But you were in that situation once and it failed. So now that you're in a situation where you're not making as much money, but you're still paying for things and still trying to get him citizenship, it's like, well, if you couldn't do it when you were quote unquote wealthy, I think that you're going to have even more trouble doing it now, making like a fourth of what you did 2-3 years ago. Cause like, I don't think like, even if Chantal was making 20 grand a month on here, I don't know if that would make her relationship with the current guy any better. I really don't. But the problem with being with someone that only wants to be with you for your money is you're only as good as your last paycheck. So if the well runs dry, that falls by the wayside. So you got to find someone that isn't just in it for the money with you. But again, this goes back to the conversation of she dislikes herself so much, she has come to the conclusion that she will never find true love. She'll never find anyone that wants to claim her. So the next best thing is buying one. Okay, that's fine. But in order to have that situation for your life, you need to have a stable income or you need to be smart with your money. You have neither.
And to learn from it. To learn that value of that money, I had to lose it first. This is how I try to look at life in a positive manner. It's not possible to avoid making human error. The important thing is to realize they will happen and learn from them. If you keep making the same error, you haven't learned how to deal with the problem yet. It's okay, forgive yourself and be patient. Trust and turn to God. He's in control of your life when you can't be. Anyway, you can make 1,908 documentaries about me, as I've said, and my past, and the turd chef. I don't give a flying crap at all anymore, that I promise you. Again, same crap, different dramatic, cinematic intro, all to study a life I've shared openly myself anyway. I always expose myself because I'm not ashamed to be human. I'm not ashamed to admit my life has had many errors and is indeed a speckled axe, but it's also perfectly imperfect. And it is my own, and I can't complain. I have a loving...
Does she write this out? She must. She must. I mean, it just sounds like she's reading off of a paper. I'm kind of zoned out at this point. I think the video is well over an hour by now. I don't know. I kind of hit a wall here for this last minute. So if there's no commentary, I apologize.
Family, a few good friends, a loving husband. Yes, there's been a scandal and it's not perfect, but we're giving it a chance, and there's so much good besides that, and it's been so good since that.
Like what? What is good about your relationship, Chantal? How is you moving to the Middle East to be with this dude? How has that been beneficial to you at all? I mean, yeah, you've gotten to feature him on the channel and he's been your side character, but now that's been taken away from you. You can't do that anymore. So what is good about this relationship? The intimacy? Because I don't think that is going on.
And if it turns out to be the wrong decision, oh well, I'll move on like I always do. We have a car, a condo by the ocean, food, pets, travel experience, the freedom to do whatever we want, to travel, and most importantly, I have my faith. I feel rich.
Oh my God. Oh, good Lord. Okay, so I asked her what's good about your relationship. She gave us a little list. Let's listen to that list again.
Decision, oh well, I'll move on like I always do. We have a car, a condo by the...
A car that you can't drive. A condo by the ocean. Okay. You don't go in the water. You don't walk along the beach. So what's the point of you living by the ocean? You looking out the window and seeing water? Okay.
The ocean, food, pets, travel...
Food? I mean, Chantal, you've had that in surplus your whole life. So being there with him doesn't make that more readily available. Or maybe it does if he brings it to you. I don't know. Pets? You can have a pet anywhere on Earth. You went outside and picked up a cat off the sidewalk, brought it in, and called it your own. And if we know anything about your track record with pets, maybe that shouldn't be something that you incorporate into your life.
Travel experience, the freedom to do whatever we want.
Travel experiences? Where? To Thailand? The only reason you went to Thailand is because every 3 months you have to leave to renew your visa. Okay, like if anything on this list so far, I would say the one thing that might reign true is the travel experience. Because okay, yeah, you did go to Thailand, you got to walk around, you got to experience it and everything. Okay, all right, she's got that. She went on one vacation while she's been there. Okay, the freedom to do whatever you want. Chantal, you're in a Muslim country. A lot of it is limited. You don't have the freedom to do whatever you want like you did in Canada. You've admitted this. It's a lot more restricted over there. There are a lot of things that you would like to be doing in that country that you can't. The first example being getting high. Can't do that. The freedom to do what you want. I mean, if freedom is sitting in a 1-bedroom apartment and eating in excess and filming yourself, if that's freedom, sure, yeah, you have that. But in a lot of other regards, no, you don't.
To travel, and most importantly, I have my faith. I feel rich in many ways, and none have to do with money. You can always make money. Money comes and goes. Anyways, thanks for listening. I will end with saying that I will not be watching any of these new series coming out about me or any reactions, which
She'll be the first one to watch it.
I never watch their videos directly anyway, so I have better things to do. Heck, even picking my nose and staring at the wall is more productive than watching someone
Oh, she has better things to do. She has better things to do. Like write long scripts and read them out word for word like this. Oh, I just get a vibe that we're not long for a return to Canada. I don't know how much this keeps up.
discuss how I stir a pot for 3 hours or how I walk weird. Anyways, guys, see you in the next video. Bye.
Okay, that was a long one. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. Let me know your thoughts on this mess, and we will chit chat. This was the Food Network. Hope you had fun.